Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to the summer transfer special at Brentford. As we follow in Dean Smith's footsteps, we're moving from Season 6 into Season 7 at Brentford. And, well, there is a chance, of course, we could end up at Villa over the summer, but the manager there's job is secured right now. I'll show you that in just a second. So it's unlikely. But I thought we'd start by having a quick look at the best 11. We have had a few players inducted in there. What's his name here? Manuel Farai is one of the players. Rambleson and Pickford are the others. So we can see the starting 11 there. We're not going to have a look at the best 11 this way, actually, so we can see sort of everybody's done in terms of goals and appearances. There's no real surprises there. I mean, on the bench with Pickford, Pickford's on the bench, isn't he? Pickford, Rasic, Pontus Jensen, who we sold when we got here, of course. Farai, Baptiste, Rambleson, and Marcus Forss, sorry. So, very difficult to argue. I mean, Rambleson's got to be getting close to taking over from Josh De Silva, I would have thought. But generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with that starting 11. I imagine Scott McKenna will at some point drop out, though he's been a good player for us for a little while now. So that's the best 11. If we have a look at what do I want to do this summer, I do want to try and upgrade on Jordan Pickford. As I said sort of last season, I think he's definitely took us to the next step. But I think we need to look to upgrade again. He's 33 now. His contract has 2 years to run. We'll try and sell him. I think we're going to get stuck with some of that 120 grand a week. But we'll try and get him out the door anyway. And the other, I think I would like to replace Scott McKenna in the squad. I think he's essentially done now anyway. We need a better player than him in the center of our defense. And I'm not convinced that Alejandro Rivas is going to be that man. So we might look to send him out on loan and then look to get a top quality centre-back in. Otherwise, I'm relatively happy with the team as it is. I mean, Paolo's only going to get better, now that he's settled in. Nassari is probably someone I'd look to sell, and if we do sell him, I just can't get anything out of him. I don't know why. He should be a good player. But if we do sell him, then I might look to get another left-sided player in. But otherwise, I'm relatively happy with the squad as it is. So it may not be a busy summer, but I suspect there might be a few big ticket items. So let's get this show. And I wanted to show you the Villa thing, didn't I? Let's go and have a look at job security in your own time game. There we go. And if we go and have a look at teams, so it sorts it so we can see Aston Villa a little bit easier. We can see there that it's stable. So it's unlikely that the job's going to come up. Heckingbottom is still the manager there. They ended up finishing... Walsall got relegated. They ended up finishing safe from relegation, but that's not where they should be, is it? So it looks as though we're going to be at Brentford for the summer. So let's get this show on the road. Oh, finances for the... Eventually we'll get going. 62 million we have to spend, and we have about 100 grand a week extra on wages. All right, now let's get this show on the road. Okay, commercial summary time. We don't have any, it's usually something else up there, isn't there? But we have a new deal, 5-year deal worth 45 grand, so that's half of somebody's wages a week. So thank you, finance department, for that one. Sponsorship, though, overall was up, almost doubled, so that's fantastic. Corporate hospitality, roughly the same. Matchday revenue, again, roughly the same. The two kind of work out almost even to the cent, don't they? Broadcast revenues dropped off a little bit, which is a little bit surprising given that we were in the Champions League and we came second in the league, but there you go. Prize money, an extra 30-odd million there, so 20-odd million I should say, so that's great. We sold 4.75 million worth of shirts. A lot of that was domestic, and if we have a quick look at the most popular players are Erkinger, Rambleson, Ndedi and Mabry were the popular guys, and I think most of them will continue to be at the... Actually, they will all continue to be at the club if I have anything to do about it. And you will see here as well that we're upgrading the facilities again, youth and training facilities. If we go and have a quick look at what that means, Superb, is there exceptional after Superb? It might be state-of-the-art training and youth facilities continue to grow, considering there was nothing when we started. This is really all very promising, isn't it? All right, onwards to the summer. Look, Mr. Chairman, if I'm honest, I don't think 14.5 million is a bad fee for him. Yes, I know I paid double that to bring him here, but I really don't think it was a waste of money. Well, for example, he was so bad that Matt Keach got a chance, and look what he did. So we have our first departure of the summer. Omar Nassari has left us. He officially leaves the 1st of July. 14.5 million off to Napoli. We don't have to pay anything of his wages, not that he was on massive wages anyway. This guy is going to be a good player. I can feel it, but I just could not get anything from him. We paid, how did I pay almost 30 million for 2 league goals? Oh, unbelievable. But anyway, I don't know what I thought I was signing, but he was absolutely disgustingly bad. And, well, as far as I'm concerned, good riddance. Okay, we have another departure to announce, and that is of backup goalkeeper Kelleher. He's gone £15 million to Watford. That was just ultimately too much of a fee for me to be able to turn down. He was a very, very reliable backup for us, and of course did wonderfully in the cup final, didn't he? But £15 million is a lot of money for a backup. Now, the reason that I've been more than willing to let him go, again, apart from the £15 million, he's on 78 grand a week. He's got to be happy with that as well. But is ultimately the emergence of, if we actually go to the squad, I've got to have everybody split by positions here, of Siders Webb. He's almost as good star rating wise. He will come in as things stand and be the backup to Jordan Pickford. Obviously, I would like to try and replace Pickford. We might see if we can get somebody in, maybe as a backup. But I think this guy could be okay. He of course came through our youth intake this past season. So yeah, I'm relatively confident he'll be able to step in and do a job as a number 2 for us. So let's hope I'm not mistaken there. We have breaking news out of Brentford this evening as the club announced the signing of 21-year-old French midfielder Gervais Diallo from Toulouse for a club record fee of £35.5 million. Now, for more on this story, we cross live to local reporter Reginald Haymaker. And Reginald, this is a player that manager Aussie Villain has been after for a while. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, it certainly is, as Brentford scouts have spent a lot of time in France over the past 6 months trying to unsettle the player. And it certainly appears to have worked. Alright, a big arrival. I'm really excited about this one. Gervais Diallo has joined us. I am, as I said, excited. 35.5 million from Toulouse in France. He's on 90 grand a week. You can see all the other ins and outs of his contract there. Let's go and have a look and see exactly what we have signed. And I've been after this guy for a while. When we signed Paulo, this was the guy I originally wanted to bring in as a number 10. But I think he could do a lot more than that. I'm thinking he can sit back in here, play as a Mazzella. He's left-footed as well. So if we're looking for somebody to come in and replace Nassari as an option on that left-hand side, I think this is our man. There is, honestly, I don't see a weakness to his game. Well, defensive maybe, but outside of that, I think we have signed an absolute star of a player here. He could play as a striker as well. I mean, there's literally no position he couldn't play. I'm really excited for this. I think Ricky Gervais Diallo here is going to be a massive, we'll have to just call him Ricky, won't we? It's going to be an absolute star. You can see he's been playing in France and playing quite well. Yeah, I'm really excited for him. I cannot wait. Look, he's got off the ball flair, vision, determined. Oh, what a player! Now, one other thing that may be of interest to you is that the Champions League final, Barcelona ended up losing to Liverpool in the final, which is, I imagine, extremely frustrating. They had 4 shots on target and 3 goals. So yeah, turns out we were only the 3rd best team in Europe this season. But yeah, so Liverpool are European champions. They have beaten Barcelona in the final. Alright, we have another departure, and it is Ante Palaversa, 15.5 million with an add-on there. You can see 4.1 if he plays 50 games. We're paying a little bit of his wages, but given that he was on, I think he was on 66 grand, we're taking about 50 grand off the wages, which is good. Palaversa was a decent player for us. We had him on loan, didn't pay anything, obviously, when we had him off Manchester City. But he's just not quite good enough for us anymore. You can see we bought him last year for 5 million. So we've made a £10 million profit on him in a season, basically. So, yeah, I think he's done okay, but we'll sell him on. We've got some youngsters coming through as well that play position. Frank Morrow, who's just signed an extension, is one of those guys. They're more than capable of filling in any games that he would have played for us. So, yeah, I think we'll take that money and run. Mr. Chairman, we really need to increase the wage budget if we're going to attract better players. Yeah, look, I have been selling players, but it's expensive to get Champions League quality players in. Mate, they all want over 100 grand a week. Yeah, well maybe I should go to Manchester City and you can get Steve Bruce in. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick update here to let you know what's going on. We're at July 16th, midway through July, and we're really struggling to get players in. This is somebody who we had gone in for, we had agreed a fee, I think it was with Leicester? If I can, yeah, it was with Leicester. 41 million, you can see there, both us and City went in. They could pay 140 grand a week. We couldn't offer that, even though Manchester City, not a Champions League club next season, we just don't have the wages to compete with them, even with the sales that we've made. So you can see we've got 100 million in the bank, we've got 62 million to spend, but the wages, and was not an option to us to increase the wages. We're basically at our wage budget. So, I mean, we could move transfer budget over, but it's the story that I feel like it should be the title of the series. We can do a transfer fee, we can do a wage, we just can't do both. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what else we can do. We've sold off some of the excess players. You can see we're operating at a profit in the transfer market, which we always seem to do. But we just can't get enough off of the wage bill to make it worthwhile. Now, Diallo was on 90 grand a week, but I think he's worth it. I think he's an absolute quality player. I want to get more players in. I still want to try and get that sort of an improvement to the left-back, centre-back sort of situation. I would still like to get in an upgrade on Pickford, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. It may be... well, at least we broke the transfer record, but that might be all we do this summer. Hello? Oh, Manchester United, how you doing? Good. Listen, have you signed any players by any chance? You have. I thought maybe they cancelled the window or something. Jordan Pickford. Yeah, okay, I tell you what, that sounds good. 40 million, you can have him, but I need to sign a replacement first. So there we go, Manchester United made a bid for Jordan Pickford, ended up being 30 million, and I did stipulate that we would need to be able to sign a replacement first, obviously, because we didn't want to sell our number one without having a replacement in. And we had 120 grand. Obviously, it would be off the wage bill if he came in, so I thought that's enough money. We could sign somebody decent. I went in for the guy I've been wanting to sign for a while here, Manu Simon from Everton, and they would not negotiate a fee. He has a release fee of 108 million, which is why that's the estimated cost. They just wouldn't negotiate. So obviously we couldn't go ahead and do that. So Pickford will stay a Brentford player for now. The window is still open, and we are now at game day for our first Premier League game against Fulham. So that'll be next episode. It does bring us to an end of today's episode, but before we get to that, we have played the Charity Shield. We faced Manchester United in the FA Charity Shield, of course. So let's go see how we got on in that one. We fell behind early, and we're 2-0 down in the 11th minute. Before things got even worse moments later. We pulled one back when new boy Gervais Diallo teed up Christian Erkinger. And we're right back in the match early in the second half when Erkinger played in Fetea. But a penalty settled the game. So there we go. It wasn't to be for the Charity Shield again this year, but to be honest, I was quite pleased with how we played. We didn't defend well, you can see that there, and obviously 4 goals conceded, but you know, so many of those were early on. But I thought particularly Erkinger looked quite good, as did Diallo, so he had a really promising debut. Like I say, I was relatively pleased with how he played. Obviously the result doesn't look great, but the performance was just about there, I'd say, outside of the defence. So that is that. You can see pre-season has gone relatively well. Again, we've been experimenting. We found a few things out, I think. We've got a tweak to our tactic from last year, which I think is going to be impressive. But the transfer window obviously hasn't gone to plan. Just the one player in. The window isn't closed, is first of all the something we need to mention. We've got rid of Kelleher for 15 million, which is a really good fee for a backup goalkeeper. We've got rid of Omar Nassari, who we just never got a song out of, and we also got rid of Ante Palaversa, who we just had kind of moved past. So we got in 45 million. You can see a couple of youngsters going out on loan as well. But we just are really, really struggling to get players in. Now, what I'm hoping for, and we've got obviously a month or so to go of the transfer window, What I'm hoping is that with other teams signing players, Manchester City's been on a tear. They're obviously going to have large squads, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to sort of get in some players from there. But this is what we have to start the season, so let me know what you think of this. We're not looking too bad. We've got Fete up as the main striker. We have Vassi as well, who is a very good striker for us. Then we have the options of Dan, of Matt Keach, who we saw what he could do last season in the FA Cup, and Jody Sadler as well, and there's a couple of other youngsters that are sort of wide players that can play up there. If we look at wide areas, over on the left, we've got Hudson-Odoi, we've got Christian Erkinger, who is the first choice out there. We also have Vassi, who can play out there. We also have Vazquez, who can push forward from a left back, and Diallo as well, who can play out there, and I will look to use in that position. Now, Hudson-Odoi has picked up a bit of an injury, a groin strain, so he's missed most of pre-season, but hopefully he'll come back in, not too bad. Over on the right, Vassi can play out here, and in theory is our best option, but he's not, because we know that Eric Ndedi is the man, so hopefully he'll have another good season. Dan can play out here, as can Hudson-Odoi, and obviously Maybe, but we'll use him in a different role. The number 10, Diallo, can play in this role, but predominantly the two we're going to look to use is Manuel Farai and also Paulo, who did play in that Manchester United game and did look okay as well. So hopefully he's settled in. Hudson-Odoi and Maybury, and again others can play in there. A little bit further back, this is where we'll predominantly see Hannibal Maybury playing. We saw him play, well, he was player of the year last year, wasn't he, playing in this role or back in this position. Diallo will play back here, as will Farai on occasion, but again, I predominantly want to use him as a number 10. Couple of youngsters in Frank Morrow. Paulo, again, can play back here, but he'll play most likely further up. Rambleson, obviously, he's a very good player for us, and French international now as well. Got a goal-scoring debut in the summer internationals. James Gardner's a good player for us, as is Madio. He's someone I considered selling since we've moved away from the DM, and he is worth 62 million on 100 grand a week, but we'll wait and see what happens with that one. And back on the youngsters, we have Hurdle, who we've seen a couple of times, and I can never say this guy's name, Sharon Bakler, who is developed really well from playing out on loan last season. I'm not sure what to do with him, as he isn't registered in the Premier League squad right now, so it might be a case we need to loan him out again. If we go back to defence, this is where I would like one more centre-back. So we've got Pavlovic. Gardner, we know, could play back here, but we haven't really used him as a centre-back. We might need to do that. Scott McKenna is back. His contract's up the end of the year, but I can't find anybody better than him. So that's a bit of a shame. Michelotti can fill in at centre-back if needed. Panzo can play centre-back. We know that. Suisi is a star, as is Soleil. And then we've got Mehu, who is still here basically for lack of other options, and Rivas, who we are looking to loan out to make sure he gets his first team football for the year. Over on the left, and again, this is where I would have liked, well, we saw that Oliver Stone, wasn't it, that I tried to sign, but would have liked to get somebody. But Michelotti, Panzo, and Vazquez are three very decent options for us, and McAtee can play over here, though he's right-footed. So predominantly he'll play over here on the right. We've got Jaden Bogle, who can play over here on the right. We've got Jack Scott, who was an absolute star for us in this position last season, so we'll see how if he can keep that form up this year. Also over here, we just saw McAtee. We'll try and give him lots of game time this season as well. And then we know Suisi and Rivas we've just seen, but they're not really right backs. Goalkeeper, Pickford for now is the number one again for this season. Other options, we've got Zillan, who was out on loan last year. He is back and in theory second choice, but I think second choice is actually Siders Webb. Came through our youth academy last season and is just looking as though he is going to be an absolute star. And to be honest, we may not need to sign a replacement because in a season or two he may be as good, if not better, than Jordan Pickford anyway. So that problem might solve itself eventually. But that's the team we have coming into the start of the season. Like I say, still a month to go. I would still like to I still would like maybe an upgrade at goalkeeper. I'd like another centre back if we could get one in. Maybe a really top choice left back as well. But I'm not too displeased. We were a good team last year with some young players that have got better, so there's no reason that we're not going to be a good team again this year. But that is it for today, though, guys. If you have enjoyed that, sorry for the lack of signings. It wasn't through lack of trying, trust me. But as I said, we'll be back next season to get the season underway. We'll be at home to Fulham, and who are we playing in the other game? Away to Burnley. So two relatively winnable games, you'd say, to start things off. But actually, we're going to play Raspadori for Fulham. You may remember he went there. But until next time, guys, I've been Aussie Villain. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.